Now joined by Yousef Ghaben, a member of the Palestinian Journalist Bloc in Gaza. Yousef, thank you for your time. Firstly, what can you tell us about this journalist who's just died?
Yes, you're welcome. First of all, let's talk about the cause that pushed the Israeli occupation forces to kill and injure the Palestinian journalists on the border areas. They were covering the protests by civilians who protest to demand their rights to go back to their homeland. My colleague Yasser Mortaja, he was a photographer for a local media agency. He was wearing a blue flag jacket, which was marked with press, and this, of course, discerning him from other civilians. And we have also another photographer or filmmaker and photographer from Alexa TV. He was also shot in his head, and he was also wearing a flag jacket, a blue jacket with press word on it. I think this deliberate targeting by the Israeli occupation forces aims to prevent the Palestinian journalists to expose the Israeli crimes against the Palestinian civilians while demonstrating. This is the main reason for targeting Palestinian journalists in these areas and of course in these demonstrations. Relating Yasser Mortaja, he was a cameraman. He was filming the Israeli crimes, especially the shootings by Israeli snipers against the civilians. And he, in the past few days, he documented some videos of some Palestinians who were injured, and I think he documented two other who were executed by Israeli snipers. I think the Israeli crimes come in the context to prevent the world to have to be aware or to know about what's really happening on in the Palestinian occupied territories, and to prevent this journalism and these journalists from passing the real information about the Israeli crimes in the besieged Gaza Strip.
Yes, as you say, journalists, both local and international, are wearing protective gear, which clearly say the words press on it to identify them from the actual protesters. And in light of this death of one of your colleagues, a journalist, that photojournalist, do you think that other journalists will be deterred from covering these protests as a result?
Of course, this is a goal by the Israeli occupation forces, but it's in vain, because we have passed through three wars by Israel on the besieged Gaza Strip. And I think Palestinian journalists played a very important role to expose the Israeli crimes and to expose the crimes against the humanity by Israeli occupation forces. These killings, these shellings, these crimes against Palestinian people as a whole, and especially the Palestinian journalists, will never deter the Palestinian journalists and reporters to deliver the real message of the Palestinian and the Palestinian narrative to the whole world. It's in vain. Israeli occupation forces now feel that they are unable to do anything before the determination and the great will of the Palestinian people. They are insisting to get back to their lands and to get their rights back. And I think it's the real message, and it's the real demand of the whole people in the world, of the whole free people in the world, and especially the people who came under occupation. They will continue struggling till they get their rights back and till they get their freedom back.
Yes, Yousef Ghaben, it is a dangerous time for both demonstrators and the press. Do stay safe, and thank you for your time.